Hello, everybody. It is Sylvia and Peter. We are back. And as you know by now, this is totally unscripted. And if you think my voice is a little bit croaky, it's absolutely right because now the COVID pandemic is over. I've gone and caught COVID.
Oh,
So,
you poor thing.
so I'm still standing and nothing to worry about. And this is online, so I'm not spreading whatever it is you can spread to anybody. Um, but we have been mulling over a few things as usual. And today it is about AI versus HI. So artificial intelligence versus human intelligence.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because human intelligence developed artificial intelligence. And now human intelligence is using artificial intelligence. So how does that all fit in? Are we replacing ourselves? Are we excited? Are we scared? I, as a psychologist, and you too maybe, get to hear the worries, the concerns, and it can be quite real. I have a client who can't afford to keep up his regular sessions with me because of AI. Because there's an actors' strike in the US where they strike against the prospect of being replaced by AI robots, whatever they're called, and that affects everything else all over the world. And he is a supplier to the film industry, and he's been laid off. So, is it real? Is it a fear? Should we embrace it? What are we doing?
It's really interesting, isn't it? This thing about the chat GPT and AI and all those type of things. Um, for me, on the one hand, it's embracing technology in the modern world and everything else. But from what you're saying there, um, one of the things that's been cropping up here in the UK around mental health and well-being, or more specifically, poor mental health and well-being, is that the a lot of experts are warning that such tools need to be tested to a high standard, and they're cautioning those waiting for months for mental health treatment, or like the person you're talking about there who can't afford the personal um, sessions he has with you, against turning to chatbots as a quick alternative. And also
Mm,
this need to, I need help now, because also particularly in the UK, thousands of people are facing such long delays, with demand for treatment has risen hugely since the pandemic. Um, I think one of the stats I saw that 1 in 4 patients are now waiting more than 90 days between their first and second appointment for NHS talking therapies. So if you wait months to get a talking therapy, then you've got to wait months for your second one. And I think there's been a lot of analysis and data, so it's not like just something off the top of my head. Um, and as we know, a lot of these people, they're waiting these huge delays. So a lot of people struggling with their mental health. So if they can't get an appointment, where do they go? And a lot of people, from what I understand, are turning to these um, online alternatives, chat bots, whatever you want to call them.
mm,
Um, but are they giving appropriate support? And it's something in one of your posts, Peter, where you spoke about that you and I, when we have a client in front of us, we tailor what we do for them. We don't deliver this, but they need that. We tailor, we build rapport, we develop that working relationship with our clients to actually get them the best help and support that they need. But if these AIs are giving, if someone rings up and says, I've got depression, what specific information will they get? Will it be appropriate? And another wonder that, as I'm talking, what pops up is, what happens when something goes wrong? Who's responsible? Um, what happens then? But I think more, it's for me, it sounds a great idea, but is it going to be the appropriate support? And also, again, as I'm talking now, is it also then someone rings up for the quick fix? Oh, the chatbot's told me this, lovely. And then a few months down the line, it doesn't work. And is this going to contribute to why poor mental health stats aren't improving? I've put a lot in there, Peter, I know.
You put lots in there, and I think there's probably more to be put in, and maybe I can put a bit more in as well, because I don't think you and I have the answers to all these questions.
No.
What I'm just seeing here is a new thing, and it's not the first time in my lifetime that a new thing has popped up and become the be all and end all and the panacea. And now with this new thing, everything is going to just work. AI has been around for a very long time in various iterations, so it's not a new thing. Now it's just got to the point where it can actually be commercially viable, and customer service people are being replaced by, I would call them robots, but by AI, because the machine, if you like, has learned the answers to the questions that people have. Great. So I phone up my bank or my insurance company. I hate doing that in the first place, and now I'm going to be met with an artificial sound, which is very close to a real sound. I've seen it. I've even got a little app on my computer that does this. It's scary how good it is. But it just leaves me with the, actually, is this something that I can do anything with? Is this sound advice? Is this good? Or is it just some generic stuff out of a bag that doesn't apply to me? Coming back to your point about counseling, you and I start and we continue every session where the client is at. Sometimes we take a step forward, sometimes we take a step back, depending on what happens in the meantime. If you look up something on GPT, I think it's called that. I keep forgetting, even though I've got the thing on my computer.
Awesome. See what they say.
Then it will give you what it has scrubbed of the internet and say, well, what do I do about depression? Then it'll give you a nice summary, a nice article about that, and it won't tell you specifically what to do in your specific case. And this is where human intelligence comes in. And artificial intelligence, I think, goes out the window. So it's about applying AI where it is appropriate. And one of my hang-ups, hobby horses, I don't know what you want to call it, about AI is that I hear a lot of people saying, oh, it saves me so much time. I can now do this, or I could do this, and because I don't have to do this myself, I now have the ability to whatever it is. I can spend more time with my children, I've heard. But I have never heard anyone saying, as a result of AI doing the work for me, I am now spending more time with my children. So it gives you options and opportunities, but are you availing yourself of them? And let me give you an example that's directly related to this video we're doing right now. I put subtitles on those videos because most people watch videos in the office and they want it on silent. So it's good to have subtitles. That software also offers an AI option to do a summary for YouTube.
Oh.
And I use that summary because it actually does a better job than I did before. But I use that option because I'm lazy. I couldn't be bothered to write a summary and put on YouTube. I just wanted to be done with the job. But now I can just click that button, read through, yeah, I'm happy with that, or I edit a few things, and then copy and paste. Easy peasy. It gives me maybe 10, 15 minutes. But I haven't replaced that knowingly with something else. So we have to be careful we're not sold some shiny box with nothing in it. That we think, oh, we get all this freedom, all this time in return. We may not. I don't know where time goes, but I haven't yet heard of anyone saying, because of AI, I can now blah blah blah. Or I am now.
Yeah, because I hear that. I will be able to. I'll get a chance to. But are you actually?
You will, yes. But are you?
Yes, yeah. And an interesting point about time, because you know, to set aside time to go to see someone face to face or have an online face to face, you know, you set a time in your diary, you set that time aside. I saw a recent survey that said, I think something about somewhere around about 90%, 85, 90%, I think, of people struggling with their mental health were now using apps to get help. And 30 something percent leaning on such tools because they did not want to wait for face-to-face support. Not because they didn't have the time, didn't want to wait for the support. But the point being then, you know, I've got an odd 5 minutes, oh, I can go online for something. Or I can, oh, I've got, while I'm waiting for the bus, I can do something. And this is sort of immediacy society that we have, rather than setting aside that time that is just to explore what is going on for me with an online counsellor or someone specific. So there is pros and cons, but it is, for me, worrying, because, you know, like you, Peter, the passion that we have for seeing people grow and develop and overcome, are they getting what they need from these apps? Or is it a case of supply and demand? You know, the app supplies this, so that's what we want, as opposed to this is what I want, and this should be the variable. It's yeah, as you say, yeah. And I'll be trying to squeeze more and more in. Oh, I'll just have a little dabble on the internet. How do I fix my depression? Lovely, tick, off we go. I don't think it's going to work.
I think you just threw in a hell of a lot more questions.
Oh no.
And this is a point where we need to ask our viewers to
the audience
come back at us. Tell us what you think about AI. Personally, I'm not against it. I'm on the fence at the moment. I want to see how it develops. I want to find the good uses for it and ditch the rubbish uses for it. Tell us what you think, and we shall continue the conversation on LinkedIn, hopefully, and some other places.
Yeah.
Take care for now. See you in a later video.
See you later. Bye-bye.